This video demonstrates the move, copy, swap, and delete features of buttons in button sets in MediaShow. The first thing to note is that MediaShow organizes buttons in pages of 20 up to 100 total buttons, and you can scroll through them using the next and previous button page options in the lower right of the interface. There's also a small graphical line that's clickable, and you may jump to any group of 20 on a page by selecting that line. So the first thing to do if you want to move or manipulate a button and rearrange its location in your button set is to edit it. So you select Edit and select the button you wish to move, and the Move menu becomes available. Selecting Move, you'll see that there are options for all the buttons on the current button page. The ones with an asterisk are occupied and the ones without are empty. You can also see that there is a delete option, and so you can delete the button from this menu as well. What Move does is effectively insert the button if you select an already occupied button. So let me demonstrate by selecting button 4, which is occupied with the sample video on background. If I select button 4 with the Move option, you'll see that the sample image moves to slot 4, and all three of those buttons on spots 2, 3, and 4 have shifted to the left to make room for the sample image. If I select 1, which is occupied now by the sequence button, and click it, the sample image will jump back, and those three buttons that were previously in slots 1, 2, and 3 have now shifted to 2, 3, and 4. If I simply want to move the button to an open slot, I can do so, and it will just jump to the open slot, making its previous slot unoccupied. You can move it back just as easily. Now there are several keyboard options available, and right now I'm holding down the Shift key and selecting Move. When I do that, you can see that I now have a scroll bar and now have the option to move the button anywhere in the available buttons. So for instance, if I wanted to move it to slot 92, I would click there, and then you can see here a change in the graphical line interface, and we can see that our button is now located in slot 92. Slot 1 is empty, and slot 92 now has our sample image button. If I select Move by itself, I'm able to move it anywhere on the current page, and now I'm holding Shift again, and if I select Move, I can now see all the buttons available, and I'm going to move it back to slot number 1. Change my button page, and there it is back in slot number 1. The second keyboard option is the Option key. If I hold down the Option key and roll over Move, it changes to Copy. And what Copy will do is make a duplicate of the button in the open button slot that I choose. So I've just duplicated and copied the button from number 1 to number 6. Here's a good time to demonstrate the delete feature. Again, with the button you want to delete selected and in editing mode, simply select Move and go to Delete, and the button will be removed from the button set. Now I have to select a button again to edit to keep demonstrating, so I'll select button 1 again. And as I said, with Option down, we can see that we're going to copy, but now I'm going to hold Option and Shift down and select Copy, and you can see again the Shift button lets me copy anywhere. I can now copy the button. Again, let's select 92, and you'll see that it's still at number 1. But if I go to position 92, I have a duplicate of the button at position 92 now. This is now the button that I'm editing. It always takes you to the new location, to the new place, and makes that the featured button, the focus button that you are now editing. I'm going to delete that button. I'm going to go back to my front page, and I'm going to edit button 1 again to show you one last feature with the Control key. I'm now holding the Control key down, and Move changes to Swap. What Swap does is it swaps two buttons. So in this case, I'm going to select button 5, the dome grid, still image, and when I hit that button, you'll notice that the sample image and the dome grid buttons have swapped places. If I hold down Control and Shift, I can then swap anywhere on 1 to 100. In this case, I'm simply going to swap it back to position 1. And remember, after doing any changes to your button set, you'll always want to save either the button or save the button set, which automatically saves the current button you're on anyway. The current button will then reload, and you're good to go starting to use your new arranged and organized button set.